Okay, gentlemen, I'll clean and spoke from that contest. With no rules in the dressing room. I wish you both luck. Touch gloves, come out, box on the bell. Good luck.
Getting set for round one. Take a look at the tail of the tape. Willie McGee, a 28-year-old, has a slight height advantage. The weight edge goes to Johnny McClendon, and he is the stockier built of the two, and a slight edge in reach for McClendon. Florida boxing rules, 10-point must system in effect. 3 knockdown rule is also in effect in Florida. And we're in round one. That's Johnny McClendon. He's got the black shorts with the white stripe. Willie McGee in the solid black trunks for tonight's fight. Scheduled for 6 rounds, and these are middleweights. Freddie.
Willie McGee, interesting story. When he first started, they kept bringing these undefeated guys. He kept knocking them off. He knocked 3 guys that were 17-0, 12-0, and then all of a sudden, he started to go bad. He left for about 2 years. Where he was, we don't know. And when he came back to boxing, he's trying to take up where he left off. We do know he's a devastating puncher.
Tommy Torino, the matchmaker for the Alessi Fight Promotions, told us this would be an action fight right from the opening bell. Both these guys leave nothing in the gym.
And he said they don't have reverse gear, but, you know, that's frequently not the case. One guy is leading and the other guy is boxing. So it figures that McGee will chase him. He's got the stronger punch, and he's got the kind of aggressiveness that figures that early in the fight is the time to get the guy out.
Johnny McClendon fought about a month ago on a fight in Ocala, Florida. He lost a split decision to Ian Garrett, a very close fight. Action in the center of the ring, a right-hand lead by Willie McGee, short of the mark. And McClendon yet to get on track in this first round as we're midway through.
McClendon kind of thick and heavy set for middleweight. McGee more of the prototype of the typical middleweight, lithe and well muscled. He actually knows how to throw punches much better than McClendon.
McClendon with a good looking 4-punch combination. Only one of those landed, the second punch, a body shot. But McGee doing a good job countering now off the ropes, although his shots are missing as well.
McGee throws with a great deal more professional patina than the other guy. I mean, you see well-thrown punches. Most are not landing, but they're thrown very well. The other is sort of a clubbing and not sharp punching for Johnny McClendon.
Willie McGee looking for a home for that uppercut coming off the ropes, and if he had landed one of those, it would have been a telling blow. He's short with the right hand following the jab, but Willie McGee showing some ring generalship here in round one. 20 seconds to go in the opening round. This is in the middleweight division, and we're scheduled for 6 on the Prime Network. And we have middleweights in our main event tonight as well, as Bobby Carson will go against Thomas Tate. The final seconds of our opening round. McClendon and McGee. Round 2 scheduled for 6. These are middleweights. Willie McGee in the solid black trunks. And on the canvas right now, they're calling this a knockdown, is Johnny McClendon, and it was.
That's as good a knockdown as you're going to see. That sharp punching I was talking about. Threw a jab into the right hand right after, classical and beautifully well thrown.
McClendon perhaps a little bit off balance as he was coming in, leaning a bit. And Willie McGee nailed him with a shot.
It couldn't be more perfect. I mean, it's like you draw it up in the gym. Well, let's see what McClendon can do to neutralize that knockdown. Certainly doesn't appear hurt. I mean, he flash knockdown, he got right up, but boy, it was just a thing of beauty, right on the butt.
As you said in the opening round, Willie McGee, I gave him the edge in round 1 as he had the crisper punches of the two, and Johnny McClendon seemed a little bit tentative as he was letting go. Wasn't really setting down on his punches as well as Willie McGee.
He's measuring and punching as McGee. Those little uppercuts to the body are things of beauty.
Another good shot. The uppercut gets through to the jaw this time of Johnny McClendon, who's definitely taking a heavy pounding in the early portion of round 2. And you can see the confidence beginning to build in Willie McGee.
Well, here in Tampa, they certainly remember Willie McGee. When he came out as a youngster, they just gave him all kind of animals, like 12-0, 14-0, and he knocked them all out. He beat them all in decision or knockout. And all of a sudden, he was on a streak, and then he started losing to mundane fighters.
He's opening up now with right hands. The first one grazed Johnny McClendon. That second one in the end of a combination It was a good scoring blow by Willie McGee. McClendon wide with his shots, and as you said, Freddie, they don't have a whole lot on it.
No sting, no punch. He has no idea how to zip a punch in it.
Willie McGee on the ropes now, playing possum a little bit. Just misses with an uppercut as McClendon moves his head, gives him a little bit of an angle. And it's a good thing, or he'd be seeing stars right about now.
Oh, McClendon on the attack. He's trying to power those punches in, and they aren't as sharp, but they are powerful punches to the side. It seems to bother McGee enough for him to try to uppercut and get out of there. He stayed pinned to the ropes for a while, and I couldn't tell you who got the best of that exchange because one guy was pounding, the other guy was zapping little quick shots in there.
McGee showing some heavy artillery with the right hand, gets caught with a shot as he leads with a left that time, and McClendon now coming on a little bit, the tail end of round 2. Inside of 30 seconds to go in the second round. We're scheduled for 6. This is Johnny McClendon now taking it to Willie McGee, who dominated the early portion of this round, scored a knockdown, and now is taking a pummeling in the corner. Inside of 10 seconds to go. Final seconds, round 2, and we'll take it to McClendon's corner after this round. All right, Freddie, we're in the corner of Johnny McClendon, who got caught with a shot early in round 2. And suddenly he finds himself back in this fight.
You ain't shooting with power, but what's wrong? You get up for you, the boom.
Well, the power punches finally started to tell. They weren't crisp, they weren't sharp, but there was so much of them. And as happened with Foreman the other day, once, as happened with George Foreman, once he starts on a volley, harder and tougher, he was starting to get to McGee.
Johnny, I want power, man.
Let's look at that perfect right hand. That beautiful shot. Keep your eye on the right hand. Jab and then right hand. Jab, jab, and right hand. Whoa. That's as good as you can call it. That's as good as you can do it. Now, unfortunately for him, McClendon got up with a lot of steam left and was beginning to get to McGee as the round ended.
Round three. Keep it clean.
Now let's look at the other right by McClendon. The only difference was there wasn't a knockdown on the end of that, but that's the same kind of punch that he received. Just about an even round, except that by going down, he gets a 10-8 round. Doesn't seem fair, does it?
This is round 3. Willie McGee in the solid black trunks. Johnny McClendon, who was on the canvas early in round 2. You saw that picture-perfect shot, and there's Ferdy's scorecard. He has McGee comfortably ahead, even though McClendon is in this fight, Ferdy.
Yes, because he came on very big, but having gone down, he's got a 10-8 rounder up. If it hadn't been for that knockdown, I'd give that round to McClendon.
And the right hand by Willie McGee seems to have sparked a nerve in Johnny McClendon, and he comes on once again after getting tagged in the early portion of round 3.
Whoa, he is really throwing power now. That pity-pat stuff of the first round is gone. He is now showing good power. Is McClendon. And McGee can't go to sleep. He can't be waiting for that one good shot. Sometimes you get too rich with that one punch. You think you're going to land it again, and you start getting beat.
Johnny McClendon weighed in at 159 pounds. Willie McGee 151 3/4. So Johnny McClendon, even though the shorter of the two fighters, came in with about an 8-pound advantage, and that can be significant, especially at this level.
Another nice combination by McGee. Down to the body, over to the head, and then missing wildly. He's got to concentrate, focus on a series of combinations, not just one.
Well, they told us this fight would be a brawl right from the outset, and so far it's lived up to its billing as both fighters have come to make war here.
Yeah, it's developing into a nice, heated exchange between two guys that need a victory.
McGee on the ropes. McClendon has had him pinned there a couple of times in this fight. In each of the 3 rounds we've seen, McClendon has taken advantage of McGee's habit of leaning against the ropes. McGee fires now in the center of the ring, the right hand a little short.
But looks good. A good uppercut by McGee. A good right hand by McGee. McGee on a roll here.
Staggers McClendon. Those body shots are taking their toll as Johnny McClendon now on his bicycle and going backwards.
Oh, what a right hand. That should have dropped McClendon.
Rushing right hand, and McGee follows it up well with a left hook to the body.
Big round from McGee.
Johnny McClendon trying to stem the tide here and keep his balance and stay in this fight in round 3. Inside of 30 seconds.
Nice uppercut. McClendon just won't quit. Sometimes that takes the heart out of McGee because he's landed his best shots. And back comes McClendon.
McClendon now punching in combination and driving McGee into the corner. This fight has been a seesaw battle as we approach the final seconds of round 3. We're scheduled for 6.
Hands free, punch out.
McClendon.
He said he had no reverse. He certainly showed some reserve there as we take a look at the Fight Doctor's scorecard. Willie McGee winning all 3 rounds, one of those at 10-8 for a 30-26 margin. And if anything, the pace has quickened some at the outset of round 4.
And another great right hand. And how often the score doesn't show what's really happening in the ring because McClendon is showing a lot of heart. And at times looked like he was about to overpower McGee. But McGee is back, and his punches are sharp. Boy, those right hands should be knocking McClendon down.
Here's a guy with a near 500 record, 6-5-1 over 12 professional bouts, 4 KOs, talking about Johnny McClendon. Taking a pummeling through most of 3 rounds and still right there and in this fight, giving it everything he has.
Get him up, get him up.
Get him up, what McGee is doing on those ropes. He doesn't need to be there. He's getting hit there. As strong as he's on the outside, he's faster, he's better. And he's got better reflexes than McClendon. But McClendon is giving him a little shellacking here in the corner for no reason.
A couple of good short right hands get in by Johnny McClendon. Not a lot of sting on him, as you alluded to earlier, Ferdy, but these can take their toll. This is a veteran fighter, and Willie McGee, 28 years old, and still at a relatively early stage of his career in terms of professional bouts.
And remember, McClendon, with that thick body, is leaning on him, pushing on him.
He goes southpaw now in round 4 as we're about midway through, trying to find an answer to solve the puzzle that has been Willie McGee. McGee, as you said, Freddie, much more effective right here in the center of the ring.
Oh, yeah. His boxing skill is far superior to McClendon. He punches beautifully from outside. Why he wants to get inside, I don't know. Although he's careless. He keeps that left hand out, both hands down. Now, he's not even an attempt to put both hands up. Just reflexes is what he's using for defense.
Tendency to hot dog a little bit, and that may cost him in this fight, as Johnny McClendon certainly seems focused at this point.
Nice uppercut that didn't land by McClendon, but that's what he needs.
Good exchange there. McGee shot missed, and McClendon got one home.
And it was a good shot home.
Inside of 30 seconds, round 4. We're scheduled for 6. This one has been a seesaw battle right from the opening bell in round 1. Johnny McClendon was on the canvas briefly in round 2, rebounded, came back, and put some pressure on Willie McGee, and it's been a good one ever since. Final seconds, round 4, as Johnny McClendon tries to close out what could be his first winning round of the fight. The Tampa Convention Center, this is our opening bout on the evening on our Prime Network card, Beach Brawl number 5, and this has been a humdinger as Johnny McClendon has come off the canvas in round 2, and he's putting a lot of pressure on Willie McGee, who's in the solid black trunks. So we get a look at the Fight Doctor's scorecard through 4.
That's the first one that McClendon won, and in the corner we heard McGee's people, just like we observed, he's getting tired. He said, hey, save some for the last round. That's a terrible thing to tell a boxer, by the way. Even to hint that you think he's tired makes him even more tired. So McGee has got some problems with stamina, maybe because of his age and because McClendon's right on top of him and pounding.
Willie McGee likes to throw that right-hand lead. He's been extremely effective in this fight when he's worked off the left jab, but in the last couple of rounds he's shown a tendency to go away from that, and Johnny McClendon has made him pay the price. McClendon now coming on. Those shots just grazing Willie McGee, but they're scoring. And had this fight fairly close, 39-37. Still a possibility of McClendon pulling it out on the card.
Well, he's certainly doing much better. He's even punching better, sharper. His punches are in combinations, and many combinations. And while he's punching, McGee is not.
At one point in this fight, especially about midway through round 2, it appeared Johnny McClendon was on queer's feet, all but out of this thing. He came on strongly to finish that round, and it's been fairly even ever since. But McClendon seems to be turning the tide in this one. as we're about midway through round 5.
Well, what's going to hurt him is that one round where he went down. It's an automatic 10-8 round. You can't help but give it to him, and that's going to hurt him because that's like losing 2 rounds. And in a short fight, that's a killer.
Right hand to the body scored well for Willie McGee and has broken the momentum some of Johnny McClendon, who's now gone to his bicycle, but he comes back with a furious combination, lands 1 or 2 of those shots. McGee did a good job of giving him the angles and staying away from trouble.
Yeah, but he got the point. He landed 2 shots, and the main thing is McGee's not punching while he's getting punched. So therefore, momentum is going all the time toward McClendon.
Nice counter right hand by Willie McGee, and Johnny McClendon has an anvil for a jaw because he's taken 2 or 3 shots in this fight that would have put most men out of it.
He has that. Boy, he is a determined fighter. Oh, look at what McGee is throwing.
McGee whistles a right hand, a roundhouse right, and McClendon sticks him with a short right hand of his own. Left hook to set up the right hand by Willie McGee. He now tries to flurry against the ropes.
McGee is gambling. McGee is gambling. He figures, hey, every once in a while I'll take my shot. In the meantime, the other guy has got momentum going.
McClendon catches McGee off balance as we come to the close of round 5.
Great round. Good action.
We go to the corner of Willie McGee.
That's something won't fall.
Huh?
That's something won't fall.
You're hitting good shots. Don't give up. Their body shots were beautiful. Beautiful. Keep them going. When he starts looking down for the body shots, bring it. Send it home. Send it home. You want to swallow a little last round. Swallow a little. Good.
That 3-punch combination is the thing that's winning these rounds for McClendon. He just won't stop, and while he's doing it, McGee is not. Now watch what McGee does. McGee throws his right, bump right on the target, and bump comes McClellan right on the target. Wow, what an exchange. Now it's going to get down to tough round because McClendon, while it should be an even fight, is behind because of the 10-8. That's unofficial. We're not calling it anything except my opinion, but that 10-8 round looms big.
5th round, a difficult one to score. Looks like you put it in the bank for McClendon, Freddie.
I thought definitely McClendon coming on the last 2 fights, the last 2 rounds, could make this either a draw or he might have pulled it out, except for that 1 round where you got to give him 10-8.
This is the 6th and final round. Willie McGee in the solid black trunks. McClendon, the shorter of the 2 fighters, in black trunks with the white stripe. And if power and pace make for an exciting fight, this one has certainly delivered on the mark.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is the kind of action you want to see in an undercard fight. These guys could come back and fight Miami again and everybody would go see it. This is an evenly matched bout between 2 guys that can really punch and really want it. That's what you want in an undercard fight.
Interesting matchup of styles, too. And Johnny McClendon, as we said, peeled himself off the canvas. Got hit with a short right hand. It was right on the money in round 2. Flash knockdown. He got up, held on well, survived the round, came on strongly at the end of round 2, got himself back into the fight, and made this one an interesting challenge for the judges at ringside, although it would seem that Willie McGee would win it if it went to the cards.
Well, we've seen some strange cards, but this one you can argue with one way or another, really. Both guys have given so much it could be a draw and nobody would argue.
Willie McGee came out early in this fight and established the quick hand speed. Johnny McClendon appeared a little tight in round 1. That one was easily McGee's round. Round 2 also to McGee. A big 10-8 round on the Fight Doctor's scorecard, and that could ultimately be the differential, that 1 knockdown in this fight.
Well, you can see McGee is tired. He's looking for that 1 shot.
You can hear the impact of the punches in the corner, the body shots. Oh, big right hand by Willie McGee, and McClendon doesn't even move. He looks like Big George Foreman, just standing in there.
What a shot.
Gives no ground whatsoever.
Neither one. Both of them are just landing away.
Terrific fight to open our program tonight on the Prime Network. Another good middleweight matchup coming up as our main event. As Thomas Tate, the brother of former IBF. Oh, there's the right hand by McClendon, and that could turn this thing around in a hurry.
Well, it certainly gives him a big round so far. He's way ahead now.
Coming to the closing moments of this middleweight fight, Johnny McClendon has just scored with his biggest punch of the night. And Willie McGee digs in now.
And if talk about a chin. We got to talk about a chin on McGee. That was a shot that should have put him away.
Johnny McClendon with the home run ball. But Willie McGee still standing in there trying to win this thing on the scorecards as we come to the final seconds of the 6th and last round of this middleweight matchup.
This decision will be interesting.
Johnny McClendon and Willie McGee. This one goes the distance. It'll go to the cards.
Take a look at this big right hand. Whoa, that should have knocked him out. That should have at least knocked him down, but have some respect there. I mean, you get knocked like that. Interesting bout between two guys that just wouldn't give up. You know, the interesting thing is you could see it reflected in McGee's face, and he sat in the corner when he says, what's holding up this guy? That's what he looked like.
And we get the verdict from Mark Biro.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision. Judge Cynthia Rubel scores it 57-56. Judge Wilson Robinson scores it 58-55. Judge Tom Brown scores it 60-54. All to the winner, Willie McGee.
Willie McGee gets a unanimous decision in this fight, perhaps deservedly so, but a lopsided margin. One official giving it 60-54, a shutout.
Absolutely. Hard bouts, 13 knockouts from Houston, Texas, Thomas Ice-T Tate. 10 rounds, middleweights.
Okay, gentlemen, I'll be the third man in the ring with you this evening. Let me tell you something right now. I'll be in charge of this bout at all times. You understand that? We don't start boxing until I tell you to. I want you to avoid the use of your head. No rabbit punches, kidney punches, or punches below the belt. Understand? Shake hands. Come out, boxing bout. Come here. Shake hands. Come on. Shake hands. All right, let's go.
Here's the tail of the tape. Thomas Tate at 5'10½", the shorter of the two, and he also is going to be at a disadvantage in the reach department as Robert Carson trying to play the intimidator in the stare down, and Brian Gary says, let's wait till we ring the bell for the opening round to get this thing started. Here are the Florida boxing rules. 10-point must system in effect, scored by the 3 judges at ringside. 3 knockdown rule also ends the fight after 3 knockdowns. No standing 8 count in the state of Florida. This is round 1. Thomas Ice-T Tate in the white trunks with the gold trim, and Robert Showdown Carson out of California hails from Los Angeles wearing the black trunks.
He tried some physical intimidation to begin with, did Showdown, and the referee Brian Gary stepped right in, stopped that nonsense right off the bat. Maybe a good tactic to discombobulate Ice-T Tate a little bit, but it didn't seem to have any effect on him.
Ice-T Tate seems very cool, calm, and collected, living up to his nickname of Ice-T. Talked to him at the weigh-in this morning, and he is trying to emerge a little bit from the shadow of Frank Tate, who briefly held the IBF middleweight championship of the world. He lost it to Michael Nunn, who, if you had to lose a title to somebody, that is certainly no disgrace, as Michael Nunn is 36-0 at this point in his career, and he's getting set to fight in his hometown of Davenport, Iowa.
Oh, when Frank Tate was winning the championship, I didn't think anybody could beat him that was coming up, but Nunn certainly proved to be the superior fighter that night. Much to my surprise, Frank has never been the same since. Frank Tate, I thought he was going to be around for a long time. Fine fighter, Frank Tate.
Now campaigning as a light heavyweight. Well, this is Thomas Tate. He's in the middleweight division, as is Robert Carson in the black trunks tonight. Robert Carson, a boxer-puncher, and this is a puncher's ring because it's kind of a smallish ring by the usual boxing standards. Almost the size of a phone booth here, and Frank Tate likes to come in, or rather Thomas Tate, and pressure his opponents early. He's had a lot of early knockouts. Many of his fights have ended before the second round has been complete.
Well, Tate certainly looks like he doesn't give any kind of respect to begin with, and he's coming right in with a hard popping jab, but you know what? Neither is Showdown. Showdown, Carson is here laughing at him just about. He's got a sort of street boy look about him. He's like, doesn't really care what's going to happen here. He's going to take Tate, so it's going to be very interesting here.
This is round 1. We're scheduled for 10 inside of the final minute. Showdown Carson in the black trunks, and Thomas Ice-T Tate, the white with the gold trim. And you can see the confidence, kind of a cocky attitude of Robert Carson. Comes in off balance and misses with 2 awkward shots.
Well, the cocky attitude of Tate is because he's 17-0 with 14 knockouts. You get a little cocky when you get everything going your way, but a night like this can be a nasty surprise.
Figures to be an interesting fight. If it goes the distance, good quick pace in the opening round. Not a lot of effective blows landed in this round.
I think this whole first round is a feeling out with Tate out jabbing. All he's showing him is he's faster and he can out jab. Showdown's trying to show that he can punch harder when it comes down to the punching.
Final seconds of round one. Tate and Carson, and we'll be back in a moment. Our middleweight main event tonight on the Prime Network from the Tampa Convention Center. Jeff DeForest along with the fight doctor Ferdy Pacheco, looking at Thomas Tate in the white trunks with the gold trim, and Robert Showdown Carson, who came for a showdown tonight and a stare down as well. He's in the black trunks with a white stripe.
Well, it was a nice fast first round by both fighters, both looking in extremely good condition. They're beautifully built and conditioned fighters. In the corner of Tate, they said we did what we wanted. We established a quick jab. Now just stay ahead, keep doing that until the fifth round when we open up. I think Showdown's got a different idea. He's punching much harder than Tate.
Thomas Tate showing the well-schooled fundamentals from an extensive amateur career, a very successful one at that, nearly made the Olympic team. Said he started at the same time as his brother Frank. Frank turned pro at a much earlier juncture, as Thomas Tate opted to stay in the amateurs, and now 17-0 as a professional fighter, and facing perhaps his toughest test tonight.
Those punches are hard.
Carson with that 6-inch reach advantage, throwing wide hooks to the body, but throwing them with evil intentions in round two.
And Tate just picking him apart with a hard jab. Pretty soon those right hands will start to follow the jab, and then this is going to heat up.
Always interesting to see a fighter who has an eternal smirk on his face, as does Showdown Carson. He's had it since the weigh-in this morning, and he tries to pummel Tate but misses as he's off balance.
Carlson has a smile or smirk on his face, and Tate has his eyes too wide open, like in anticipation. If you didn't know better, you think that's like a scared look, but it's not. It's just the way he looks.
Showdown looks like he's genuinely having a good time in there.
Well, he is this round. The first round, he had a big diet of jabs. As long as he's punching, the other guy's not jabbing him that hard.
Frank Tate, very good defensively also. Has been able to stem the tide as Showdown has unloaded some heavy artillery here in round two, but really hasn't scored with too much, except that one right hand that got through to the body. This is round two, scheduled for 10. Left jab gets through. After he feints a jab, Tate scores with a jab, and you can see the combinations. Well schooled is Thomas Tate. Hard right hand to the body, partially blocked.
Carlson's just trying to hit something. Whether he hits shoulders, whether he hits arms, he's got to hit something. And he should. That's what he should be doing. Pounding those arms, pounding the shoulders.
No wasted movement by Thomas Tate as we're in round two, scheduled for 10 in the middleweight division. This is round three of our main event on the Prime Network. Thomas Tate in the white trunks and Showdown Carson, who had a good round in round two, although it was a fairly even round, Ferdy, as we head into the beginning moments of round three.
I thought it was even, except that Carson had a slight edge, punched harder, was doing a lot more offensive fighting than he did in that first, and causing Tate to react. And he wasn't doing it as well as he had in that first round. So very close, very close.
Thomas Tate established the jab in round one, took round one because of that jab, also controlled the pace in the first round as Robert Carson Showdown was a little bit off balance with some of his punches. The second round, Carson set down a little bit more on the hooks, got a couple into the body, didn't really take too much of a toll on Thomas Tate, and Tate once again with a good jab and solid defensive skills. And this looks like it's going to be an interesting fight all the way through.
Well, I've told Carson in the corner, as you've heard, you be first, and you punch much faster than he does. Get your radar going. Well, as long as he's waiting for Tate, Tate's building up points and will out-jab him. He should start out like that, right there. He should come back in. That should be a double combination instead of one and then just stand back to admire your work. They got to get him on the corner, get on him and say, hey, punch in bunches. Just don't punch twice and stand back and look at your handsome work.
If there is an edge in this fight, it's the quickness of Tate's jab. Very impressive so far through the early stages of round 3.
Oh, he looks like a very well-schooled, well-conditioned fighter. He is in here not just round by round. He understands that this is a whole drama to be played out. Up to the 5th round, he's following his advice, and then he's opening up more. So what you're seeing is an extremely well-schooled fighter. He's following the instructions of his corner. Look at that. 2, 3, 4, 5 jabs.
Tremendous wealth of experience working Tate's corner as well, as Carson snaps back a jab and catches the attention of Thomas Tate, who is beginning to take over this round with that left hand. Al Bolden, 38 years experience with the ring wars, and Creed Fountain also working Tate's corner. He's been around for 25 years.
It's a great name for a sheriff in a Western. Creed Fountain.
This is round 3. Tate reestablishing control in this round with the left jab. That's pretty much been the only punch that's landed, and we see the first display of sportsmanship between these two.
Well, what that was is that Showdown kicked him with his knee just as he was moving out, and Tate smiled at him, saying, "Oh yeah," I mean, like kneed him when he was going out.
Thomas Ice-T Tate, the white trunks, skull trim. And Robert Carson's gone into a little bit of a shell in round 3. And this has been clearly Tate's round as a punch hits Tate in the back. And we come to the closing seconds. But Thomas Tate, clearly the winner of round 3. And we'll take you into the corner of...
Take a deep breath.
We're listening into Robert Carson.
Now we got to start working off the jab. Start taking the jab,
showing the jab, and get them hook
the
off. Handle right talking to Thomas Tate.
Start pressing him a little harder. He got it. He got it. Okay, you hit me? Start pressing him a little tighter. Okay? Yeah.
Thomas Tate, very cool, calm, and collected in the corner. And I think, as you said, Ferdy, you can see the evolution of a fight plan beginning to work.
Well, he certainly put it in gear, and exactly what they wanted him to do, he got. Now let's take a look at that little unsportsmanlike thing that Carson tried to get away with. And then keep your head on the right, keep your eye on the right knee of Carson. Boom! There he goes, like a little,
like Gary Apremian there,
like a little kick in the rump that you did in grammar school. You know, whomp, a little thing there.
This is round 4, scheduled for 10. These are middleweights, our main event tonight on the Prime Network. That's Thomas the Ice-T Tate.
Well, I'll tell you what you are watching here. You're watching two very fast fighters. I mean, if your appetite is for speed, they're not going to get too much faster than these two guys are fighting. I mean, that's a very fast pace. Look at Tate, the way he just throws those things and keeps on going like he's got an electric current going through him. Carlson's trying to keep up with him. He did not in that last round, but now maybe this is a round that he comes back and tries to establish some kind of domination.
Caught Thomas Tate coming in on the tail end of his own combination and came back with a nice counter right hand to the body. Robert Carson seemed to take round 3 off a little bit as Thomas Tate really controlled him at the end of his left jab.
He's letting him be first. He's not even feigning him. He's standing right in front of him. He doesn't give him any angles. He doesn't give him any movement. He's just standing there to be hit. I mean, he's got to do something. He's got to do some kind of punching. He can't just wait for the other guy.
Thomas Tate said he wanted to get off first, be first. That's been the pattern. That's been his secret of success in going 17-0 with 14 knockouts at the outset of his professional career. Hammering right hand to the body, but Tate doesn't budge. And is content to corner Robert Carson against the ropes, but Carson bounces out of there, takes it back to the center of the ring.
At least Carlson's fighting back some now. He's not just taking a one-way beating. Well, look at him just stand there and watch. I mean, that's infuriating when you're working in a corner. You see your guy's got speed, but he doesn't turn the switch. He doesn't pull it.
Throwing some big shots from the outside. Not close enough to Thomas Tate to have them do any damage.
See, he doesn't move forward with the punches. Now look, back. He's got to go forward. He throws the punches. Come on in. Punch again. Instead, he stands back to admire his work or steps back where he's further away and resets the action.
Ring generalship seems to favor Thomas Tate.
Yes, it does. He is clearly superior as far as the ring generalship is.
All right, let me have you.
Oh,
More hot dogging by Robert Showdown Carson.
inspired by Dr. J. That was a behind-the-back pass. That's a Magic Johnson.
Inside of 30 seconds in round 4. Thomas Tate doing a good job executing his fight plan. His handlers have to be pleased. Been very patient, working the left jab. Hasn't unloaded with too many right hands.
Oh,
And there he finally does.
I think he heard you. I think he heard you. Oh.
Final
Time to
seconds
throw the
of
right
round
hand.
4. And we'll take a break and be back with round 5 of the good middleweight main event. Robert Showdown Carson and Thomas Tate doing battle in what could be a crossroads fight for both these young men. Showdown Carson started out his career 5-0-2, undefeated through his first 7 bouts, and took on some heavy artillery. Fought a guy that we saw on our last show here on Prime Network, as Ray McElroy defeated him 2 times. As he lost 6 of his next 7 fights, but he's looking good tonight as he's fighting a real up-and-comer in Thomas Tate.
Yeah, I think the crossroads is for Carson, not for Tate. Tate is just cruising along. Another step on the way to bigger and better things, and he's winning handily here. Interesting to see what Tate will do. The corner is now giving him permission to turn loose a little bit. So throw both hands. Don't just say I want to see both hands going. So we'll see more of a two-handed attack now from Tate.
Showing lightning-like quickness with the jab as we get a little Muhammad Ali shuffle here from Showdown Carson. Showtime would be a more appropriate nickname for Carson.
Yeah.
But it's time for him to show up with some punches and combinations and stop fighting going backwards if he wants to win this thing from an undefeated prospect in Thomas Tate.
That movement just doesn't help you when you're fighting a guy that's even faster than you are. He moves with you. You're doing all the movement. He's doing short movements, and he cuts you off, and he's still punching at the end of the movement. So it's no good. That movement is costing him. It's costing Carson.
About midway through round 5, scheduled for 10. And we're starting to see the right hand become a weapon in this fight for Thomas Tate. He's been very conservative with the right hand through 4 rounds. Starting to throw in combinations, but Showdown tries to counter off the ropes and misses, but Tate stays right there and continues with his fight plan.
Well, anytime that Carson connects with one of those wild punches, the crowd hollers. But really, most of them have bounced off gloves or a Tate going away. Looks good, but are not effective.
Footwork for Showdown Carson, not as solid an element, even though we saw him dancing around the ring. Tate's the one who's right there with the power on his punches to have them at the perfect point of impact when he unloads. Pattern of this fight is continued as Thomas Tate in the white trunks has controlled the elements with the left jab. He's unloaded a couple of right hands. Carson has had his moments. This looks like another round in the bank for Tate. You can see the hand speed, Cody.
Yep, and the defense of Tate. Excellent hand speed, superior defense. Round to Tate.
Another round in the bank for Thomas Tate will continue on Prime Network. Going through 5 rounds for Thomas Tate, who's trying to protect an undefeated set of credentials in the pro ranks. He's in the white trunks with the gold trim as we get set here for round 6. Robert Showdown Carson has been game in this fight, thrown some hooks to the body. That's been his most effective weapon, but hasn't done enough to win most of the rounds, Freddie.
He just can't get off. Speed is the whole thing. Reflexes and speed. When Tate punches, he comes in with punches, stays in and punches some more. That means 4, 5, 6 punches. When Showdown punches twice, he either stays where he's at or backs up. That's the difference. You can't continue combinations if you don't step in with them.
And we see Thomas Tate starting to pick up the pressure level that he's putting on Robert Carson. Really protects himself well. The transition from offense to defense and vice versa for Thomas Tate, absolutely outstanding. That's what you like to see in a young fighter.
It's aggravating to his corner to see him land a couple of good shots, which looks like you could get more afterwards, and then do nothing but stand there. Carson has to be told in the corner, push in, punch 3, 4, 5 times.
Neither fighter's been down. Neither fighter is marked. There really haven't been any convincing blows in this fight. Anything that would turn the fight dramatically around. But Tate has been there, and he's landing 2-3-1 in terms of ratio, and most of it's been the left jab. It's been extremely quick tonight.
Tate is fighting like he knows he's going to win this fight without any problem, and the other guy is not fighting with the intensity he needs to upset him. The other guy has to get fierce. He's got to get wild. He's got to come after him, and he's not fighting that way. He's fighting just like Tate, cool as ice and nice and all that, but Tate is outspeeding him and outpointing him. We have both given him only one round, Carson, and I doubt if he won that in the judges' scorecard. He's probably pitching a shutout, is Tate.
Robert Carson had his best round of the fight in the second round. The fight doctor's scorecard reflecting that. Inside of a minute to go in round 6. This one's scheduled for 10. Been an interesting tactical fight. Except that Showdown Carson really needs to start coming forward if he's going to take this one on the scorecards. Otherwise, he's in for a long, punishing evening as we go through round 10, if it indeed goes the distance.
But, you know, he's getting hit a lot, but he's not getting knockout hit. You know what I'm saying? He's almost like he's setting him up for the later bad news, but not trying real hard for a knockout. It's Tate.
Inside of 30 seconds, now 20 seconds to go in round 6. Frank Tate, or rather Thomas Tate, easy mistake to make. There's a strong facial resemblance to his older brother. Final seconds of round 6, and Thomas Tate once again controlling the round with a left jab. And scored several times with the right hand. He's had Carson backing up. And we'll keep it right here between rounds. Into the corner now, we follow Thomas Tate, who has his eyes on a championship fight.
You let him get off.
And there's Carson. And we'll listen into his corner.
Don't feel weak. Feel strong. Feel strong. It's all in the mind, son. Get off first. Get your jab off first. You're beating the punch.
Use your ring, okay? Use it. That's all you got to do. Whatever you do.
You're better than him. No wild right hand. Get your head.
My neck. Okay, once you pop that head back, you pop up. Once you pop that head back, go back with a right hand, okay? All right. Just pop that head. You popping his head back, but just follow it with right hand and left hook, okay? Uppercut, just like what you were doing.
This past
What this fucking guy? You hear me? Yes, sir. Okay, don't tell him yes, I don't do it.
Give me some vicious hooks to the body.
Mouthpiece.
Get the mouthpiece. Who got the mouthpiece?
Billy, grind it up.
I got it, I will.
This is round 7, our main event on Prime Network tonight. Jeff DeForest along with the fight doctor Freddie Pacheco, and Thomas Tate goes right back to work. A mirror image of the last 3-4 rounds as he comes out quickly.
I think he's going for knockout now. I think he's going for power now. I think he's going for look how close he is to it.
And he gets a right hand home as Showdown Carson was looking to counter off the ropes, and he got caught with a shot.
And a bad piece of news in the corner. Carson said he was feeling weak. He was feeling tired. Of course, that is the effect of all of those jabs. And now Tate is standing in much closer and punching much harder.
Thomas Tate from Houston, Texas, and Robert Carson hails from Los Angeles, California. Good-looking young middleweights. It appears right now, as we're about a minute into round 7, that it's Thomas Tate, the one with the bright future.
Carlson seems to have slowed down his desire to fight. He is really, he's set in the corner, he's feeling weak, and he's fighting that way. He's fighting like, well, I got to stay in here till 10, so let me while away these rounds. See that bipping and bopping and jumping up and down doesn't do him any good. He gets weaker. Nothing is affected by it. Tate is still right on top of him. When he finishes bouncing around, there's Tate, right in his face.
Robert Carson content to back up through most of this round. Finally scores with a left hand, but Tate does an excellent job of covering up. He's really got that small defensive box. It's very difficult to penetrate.
Well, let me tell you, I watched Frank Tate all the way through his career. At this stage of Frank Tate's career, he didn't look near as good as his brother, as Ice-T Tate. I mean, he looks good.
Haven't really seen the awesome punching power from Ice-T Tate, but it looks like it's a war of attrition for Ice-T, and maybe the power will come a little later on in his career. Certainly, as we said, skilled in the fundamentals of this game.
Hey, when you get 13 knockouts in 17 fights, you got power from someplace. This guy is not cooperating because he's not fighting with him. If it was toe-to-toe, he might have been gone. This guy is fighting, Carson is fighting a survival fight.
Tate has won most of the exchanges in this fight right from the opening round. Really controlling things with the left jab. We've seen good hand speed with both hands from Ice-T Tate.
I tell you the difference between these two fighters. Tate is a main event fighter. Carson is a good undercard fighter. And that's what you're seeing.
Perhaps a co-main man. We saw Ray McElroy. He's fought Showdown Carson 2 times in his career and beaten him both times. A couple of times on Prime Network, and certainly he's met quality opponents. Coming to the close of round 7. Another one in the bank for Thomas Tate. The left jab has dictated the pace in this fight, and it's belonged to Thomas Tate. Came in undefeated. This is round 8 in the middleweight division. Our main event on Prime Network, as Showdown Carson has to get busy as he trails badly on the Fight Doctor scorecard.
I tell you what I like about Tate also. He's relentless. He's just as heavy after this guy as he was in the first round. Just as fast. He doesn't slow down. He keeps up the pace, and he's building up in intensity. His punches are harder. He's getting combinations off better. He really looks like a well-developing fighter that's developing extremely well.
Done a great job of maintaining the pressure on Robert Carson. Hasn't allowed Carson to get off. Carson had a brief moment in the second round. I scored that round an even round. Fight Doctor gave it to Robert Carson. And it would appear to be a lopsided margin on the cards in favor of Thomas Tate as we're in round 8. It's starting to look like Showdown's going to need a knockout to win this thing. And he hasn't really given any evidence that he's capable of scoring.
Well, I tell you what, off this fight, Showdown should change his trunks to slow down. Because he has not been fast at all, and he's slowing down a lot.
That's why they pay you the big money for it. The action really hasn't slowed down too much in this fight. The pace has been a good one for middleweights.
And the pace is dictated and carried out by Tate. I wonder what would happen if Tate laid back one round and see what this guy's got.
Carson really hasn't shown any inclination to come forward except at the stare down to begin the fight. He does appear to have some ability and some power. He's got good leverage on his punches, but he doesn't like to throw when he's coming forward, and perhaps that's a credit to Thomas Tate for the job that he's done applying the pressure. 2 body shots, and Thomas Tate says, no harm done. Wild uppercut misses. Let's see if Tate can make him pay.
Amateur stuff. Leaving his feet with a punch, leaving himself wide open.
Very impressive footwork by Thomas Tate in this fight. Even though we've seen the flashier moves by Showdown Carson, he's the one doing the boogaloo and the dancing. Yeah, but Thomas Tate's doing the effective footwork.
But flashy's not effective. I mean, if flashy's good if you're going to do something with it like Muhammad Ali, but flashy and then you stop and get killed is nothing. You know, that's absolutely foolish.
Little dance, then take a timeout and say, hit me, please. Tate's done a good job of keeping the pressure on, as we said, all night long. We're in the final seconds of round 8. Tate with the left jab, control this fight from the outset. Opened up some with the right hand. Hasn't scored any big shots in this one. As Carson finally comes forward now and is on the attack, but Tate puts him right back in the center of the ring. Does a good job of coming back to position. Closing moments of round 8 as Carson now coming on a little bit in desperation, and we're going to stay right here and take it into Thomas Tate's corner. It has to be a happy corner at this point because their man is doing everything very well and according to plan.
Did you only see that all? Well, get out there, man. The man that want to quit. You that putting back straight punches, you gonna get hit with one of them damn sweeping hooks. But you sitting there waiting. He gonna hit you with a hook. Sitting there waiting. You keep your hands, but you can't do nothing. You understand?
When you throw those double hooks, he's looking good.
He's a regular right hand. Hook, right hand, left hook, right hand. You understand that? Well, let's go out there. Don't be saying, don't do shit. Come on, You don't embarrass yourself out there looking like you looking.
You throwing the hook up. Throw the hook. A regular normal hook. You coming up like.
Take a look at this big overhand right. Whoa.
That's
the kind of stuff that can knock you out. At least it'll get your attention. You know, if this guy's just outspeeded, outslicked, outthought, has no way to beat
You catch his jab, you go bing, 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 bing.
This is Carson's corner.
Where's 4? Where's 5?
And you can detect a little sense of desperation there as they try to get some pace in their man.
Come on.
You hear him say, I see the 1-2, where's the 3, the 4, the 5? That is exactly what we've been saying the corner should be saying to him. Hey, not 2 punches, but 3, 4, and 5. Stay there. Go on in once you punch.
Birdie's scorecard after 8 rounds has Thomas Tate comfortably ahead, 79-73, giving Robert Robert Showdown Carson only the second round of this fight.
I see all that bouncing up now. Watch what it gets him. And what's he going to do? He's going to get punched silly and do nothing. And, I mean, it doesn't add up to an offensive move.
More often than not in this fight, all that movement has gotten Robert Carson tagged.
Yeah, when he gets through bouncing, he gets hit. And if he doesn't bounce, he gets hit. It's a terrible alternative. None is what he's got.
I like the way Thomas Tate uses his jab simultaneously as both an offensive and defensive weapon. Sets things up off the left jab, even though he hasn't thrown the right hand too frequently in this fight. Very cautious. Seems to know he's got this one won on the scorecards, and if it does go the distance, it'll be 18-0 for Thomas Tate, barring a bizarre turnaround.
And I like what his corner is doing for Tate. They got a student here. They got a guy they're teaching. They tell him don't pull back from those from an exchange straight back. That's where you get hit by a looping shot. So they're arguing and they're fussing with him all the way through this fight, even though he's comfortably ahead and he's giving a lesson to Carson. Still, they're not satisfied. That's great in the corner. That's what you got to do until your guy's a champion. Keep teaching, keep hollering, keep improving with every fight. Wonderful to see a good corner like that.
Closing in on a minute to go in round 9. This one's scheduled for 10. Our main event tonight. Carson scored with a right hand to the body at the tail end as a counter to Tate's combination punching, but once again Tate dominating the action in this round. Off balance shot, and because he was off balance, it had little impact on Thomas Tate, who bounces right back out to the center of the ring, shakes and bakes a little bit, continues to pound away with the jab.
But at the very least, the change was at the very least he's coming in. He's changed Carson and he's driving in with the punch.
Starting to swing from the fences a little bit is Showdown Carson. Now he throws some dazzling footwork and comes down. Sends Tate back, and I think this is what Tate has been waiting for.
It's gotten Tate mad. Tate is mad.
Tate's been looking for an exchange, and as Showdown looks to the crowd to say, hey, look at this.
Tate is mad. Watch this.
90 seconds, round 9.
Come on, I got you there on. They're having no pressure here. Go.
Interesting round as Carson has finally opened up, and we'll take you to Carson's corner now as we approach the 10th and final round.
See how he can't do anything? Put your head down. Put your head down. Leave your head down, goddammit. Boys, listen to me. When this last round's done, you got to fight. You can drive. You can drive. Oh, face off.
Guy's face.
Looking good.
Looking good.
What, Al?
Listen to instructions.
Take him out.
Win the last round, son. Bang with him. When he throws one, you throw 5 and 6. You did it. Do it again. Knock him down, you win the fight. Knock him down, you win the fight. Stay down.
Okay, take a miss, take him out. You're doing good.
Showdown Carson standing on his stool, getting ready to take a leap off the top rope. Brian Gary says none of that, but round 9 was the first shining moment for a fatigued Robert Carson. You can hear him breathing hard in the corner. They touch gloves, and this is the 10th and final round. Thomas Tate really has controlled this fight pretty much from the opening bell. Round 2 perhaps for Showdown Carson, at least on the Fight Doctor's scorecard, rather unofficial, and round 9 was a little more even.
I gave it an even round because I thought that Carson came back strong and sort of discombobulated Tate, made him mad, made him lose his temper, and got in some good shots while he was being careless. So it could have been an even round.
Keep it up, keep it up. Come on,
nice blue-collar job, though, by Thomas Tate. He's gone right back to the factory and punched in again. As Showdown Carson picks up the pace now.
And you wonder what could have happened if he'd have started out this way instead of just trying to pull it out in desperation. What if he'd have done this in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round?
It's been a quick-paced fight, but the pace has all been made by Thomas Tate.
Let him go.
On my scorecard, he's well ahead, 90-82. Had the second round even.
Get him up there.
2 minutes to go now in the 10th and final round. Carson on the ropes, trying to find a solution for the puzzle that has been Thomas Tate. Wild overhand right.
Everything he throws is too wide, too wild, too far out. showboating. That's all he's doing. He's not throwing it with effectiveness. Those are all arm punches. Even if they land, they're not going to do anything.
Kind of a shell of Muhammad Ali. Looks like he studied some Ali tapes, but hasn't got the impact of Muhammad Ali, the things that made Ali the great champion he was. Few fighters can get away with that kind of style.
Ali ruined more fighters than you can imagine. Everybody tried to fight like him, but they didn't have his body and reflexes.
Thomas Tate continues to work the left jab. That's been a differential in this fight. Robert Carson has had a couple of bright spots, mostly with hooks to the body. A good defensive job by Thomas Tate to stay out of any trouble. Showdown goes back on his bicycle, and he needs a knockout to win this thing, so he has to start coming forward, and he has about a minute left to do it.
If Carson could score a knockout here, it would be one of the luckiest punches ever seen in boxing.
Be like Big John Tate going down, no relation to Thomas Tate, against Iron Mike Weaver. 15th round after Tate dominated the fight. Hooks now as he leaps off the canvas. Robert showdown Carson, but not enough numbers for Carson to win this round even, much less the fight. He scores with a left hook. And for the first time in the fight, Tate showing some vulnerability. And that's the end. We'll go to the scorecards, and we'll keep it right here for you. Thomas Tate, a very impressive performance, a game effort by Robert Carson, but I think you pegged it perfectly, Ferdy. Thomas Tate's going to go on and be a main event fighter for some time in the future, and Robert Carson will continue to be a formidable opponent, but perhaps trying to be quite a lesser level of competition.
Undercards and main event of lesser fights. Interesting fight, interesting fighter, but these are the learning experiences. Tate won't learn a lot from all those knockouts. Tate will learn more from a night like this than he did from 4 or 5 of those other knockout fights that he had in the early rounds.
And we take a look now at Robert Carson. Went the distance once again. As we said, he fought Ray McElroy, a fighter that we saw 2 times on Prime Network previously. Got knocked out by McElroy once and then went the distance with McElroy. He's a well-schooled fighter out of the Jenks Morton camp. So he's been meeting good competition throughout his career, and his record has been deceptive. Certainly a fighter with some ability. Needs to work on a few things. Has to set down on his punches a little more if he's going to win fights in the main event.
I think he's got to adopt a different philosophy. This is not show business. This is athletics. He's got to quit trying to entertain the public and start trying to win a fight. And that's the difference between these two. The other guy is totally dedicated to boxing, totally dedicated to learning the basics and going on to win.
All right, we have the decision. The scorecards collected by ring announcer Mark Biro, and let's get the official announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision. Judge Wilson Robinson scores it 98-93. Judge Frank Skilbred scores it 97-94. Judge Tom Brown scores it 99-94, all to the winner and still undefeated, Tommy Mr. T. Tate.